hold on.
Hey, what's going on? Hey.
Bear man love talk on the kid online, they don't even know the boy. Man tried to play in the Champions League, that boy right there's a
Europa boy.
Looking strategic moves. Might see the news.
Alright, okay, light, very light.
I what? Freestyle? I what? I'm not touring. Backhands get to boring.
Times have been tough for everyone. We've all been affected by the pandemic.
A lot of people are sad.
By political division and racial prejudice.
There's gonna be some people that don't like me because of my skin colour.
By violence and anxiety.
The game's chestnut checkers out here. You lose your life, you make the wrong move.
I remember pulling up to the scene and just thinking that it was dead.
You know what it is? Like, if I tell you the story, I don't want to go to jail, innit?
Sometimes we don't know which way to turn. But through all the chaos, young people across the British Isles are using music to share their reality. These uncensored stories can bring scrutiny and criticism. UK drill in particular has at times been connected with violence. But a deeper look can show that so many of today's artists are just trying to address the complex issues they face growing up in their environment.
The way I grew up, like, was the recipe for disaster.
We're looking beyond the London scene and asking, how can UK rap help us understand the most urgent issues of our day?
There was two directions. Either stay legit or hit the roads.
Look, school can't trying to count meals in the next few years. By age 19, they think that kid's naive. Ain't little baby, yes indeed. They locked down, had me locked down in the yard, and I felt like my bro, he was on probation. School and music, I'm in both minds. I need to balance equation.
The hood's like a concrete jungle, you feel like there's no way out. So when it came to me choosing music or doing something else, like, there's been so many times in life where I had a crossroad.
I come from the south side of Birmingham, and growing up, I enjoyed it. I was with my friends a lot.
That's my guy from the jump, man. Honestly, and my boy RM, you know what it is. It's my boy Ibs.
You know how it is, man.
I come from Rwanda and stuff, so growing up in an African household, it's definitely something that kind of gives me a sense of, like, brotherhood to a lot of people that have a similar upbringing.
I'm literally just speaking my life. I'm not fabricating it, I'm not trying to be no one else. I'm just doing me. I'm speaking through myself, my boys, my people, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I do, man, honestly.
I had to, like, find out a lot by myself about how the world really is and how reality isn't as sweet as it seems.
Yo, if I ain't done said it, best of my age, man, I ain't got credit. I ain't got to say too much when I play too much, like a game of snakes and ladders. Maddest, baddest, been on badness, top that shit like I aim and spray. I don't want to shoot in my way when the team less soft, just believe it was spray.
Bolton, it's not a nice place to grow in. I guess the media doesn't really look into it because if it's not London, they don't care, basically. There's just a lot of crimes. There's a shooting, someone got killed. There was a stabbing. My mum's wanted to move a couple of times, but obviously things have happened where we couldn't move. We would have to stay in Bolton.
Oh, I remember walking down here with my old friends.
You would just see Africans together because there wasn't a lot of us.
Do I think it's become more diverse now?
Yeah.
When we was in school, there was like 10 black people. 10. In my primary school, I was like the only black person in my class, you know.
I'll get into fights over the littlest things.
I was always like, yeah, let's go.
But mainly in high school, racism, very racist.
I was walking home, and then these boys, they would be racist walking afterwards. I had a fight with him, bro. Really? I knocked him out right over there.
Let me tell you a little story. I had a question this one white guy. I must have told him, like, oh, like, I have a question here. He gave me the most dirtiest look. He turned around and just gave me a dirty look. And then he was like, I don't like black people. My mom said I can't be friends with black people. And then I think from then, I kind of realized that, shoot, that there's gonna be some people that won't like me because of my skin colour.
I'm an Irish kid who turned nothing into something, whoa. Now like the capital, money's Dublin. Jordan repping, D-Town stepping. We out here, no messing, see we do the press. Started off in ends, exactly in trends. Man like DJ Lee, rolling up in the Benz. Me and BT cooking, trying to get a look in. Didn't rate us, now it's us that are booking.
My name is Officer. I'm from a town called Drogheda. I came to Ireland as a refugee. I was born in Lagos, but I wasn't there for too long. It was just a thing to come to Europe for a better life. We were actually meant to live in England, but obviously we came to England And around that time, my mum was pregnant for my sister, so it was like, come have your baby in Ireland, you should be a citizen. So it's because of my sister we're here today. I used to live in Mosney. Mosney is an accommodation center, so all the refugees, they stay there until they get their papers. The difference is you wouldn't be able to go to college, that kind of thing. If you want like an actual citizen, you're limited, like healthcare, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But they do take care of you, but like not as much as they'll take care of like an actual citizen. A lot of black people went through the same process. There's so many black Irish people that have been here for such a long time. It's gonna be a generational thing, so I think we are kind of moving forward in a way. Like, I was only there for like a year and a half, then I got my papers and, you know, we just started to live a normal life as citizens kind of thing.
A lot of rap is about what you've been through, your hardships and all that stuff. There's a lot of shit that has happened to me that would probably, like, crumble someone else. And I find that with me, I don't really know how to express my emotions. A lot of people are sad. A lot of people are sad, and I was sad.
I felt like a bit of an outcast at school. I wanted to be something I wasn't. I wanted to be something else, something different. I just found myself connecting to people like Scarlord, XXXTentacion, that whole era of like rage rappers. You can be who you want to on the internet. You can kind of twist your own little, you know, narrative, and it's a nice escape. It's a nice difference, you know, to just being Josh who walks along the street or whatever, but being Bad Lad, I can be this eccentric version of myself. It gives me a reason to be something different.
You know what it is? Like, if I tell you the story, I don't want to go to jail, innit?
Made rats off my strip, don't believe me. I got my first 9 bar from Kimi. Cut through my cigar, get paid. Wiley Birch, 2-3, know my estate. Man, I really put my soul on these curbs. 2-3, boy, I'm coming straight out Earths.
Your boy Mowgs. I'm from Erditon, Wiley Birch, Birmingham. In the beginning, it's rap. I'm a trapper, you get it? I'm a trap star that raps, but now, like, man's life is like, nah, I just rap. I've never trapped.
Coming from a broken household was kind of hard, you get it? I spent my whole life till I was like 13 moving, you know? Like, once a year we were moving.
This is the block that we first started chilling in ever. The legendary block. You get it? Like, man, learned how to roll in that block.
My mum and dad were having domestics.
Getting like flashbacks when I talk about this stuff now, you know, it's mad.
As a woman, she wanted to protect her kids, so we just used to always move. Back in the day, it was hard, innit? The roads are the roads, man, like, trust me. I've seen everything happen out here, man.
A lot of men are in jail. See, life happens to people, innit? You sometimes, you know, you don't always start with people that you finish with.
The way I grew up, like, it was a recipe for disaster.
And that's the beauty and power of music for a lot of young people. It's a lifeline, a way out, a dream that might just come true. To help share what drives their passion, some of the artists in this film will be working with Sheffield-born producer Toddler T. They're each going to be creating a song that helps us understand their journey.
Growing up in a Muslim household, it's like, there was no music, there was none of that. I was probably like 7, 8 when I first heard music.
That was something hard. Yeah, that's very kind of. Yeah.
My dad's Jamaican, my mom's Indian. So like when my dad and mom got together, my mom's family disowned her, and back then it wasn't normal for a black man to be the Asian woman to be the black man.
The screechy thing. tough rhythm under it, innit?
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something wavy. This is like, I don't know, like, you're gonna have to work your magic.
Yeah, no, I'll go for it now. Yeah, say nothing, guys.
Obviously, my mum and dad going through their domestics, innit? The relationship between my mum and dad is proper toxic because their household that they come from was proper broken. My dad went through bare abuse. His nan kicked him out when he was 12. He was in care home. My mum went through bare abuse. So it's like, when two people that have been through so much hurt people, innit? And I started noticing as I'm growing up, like, right, this geezer's here for mum, he ain't here for man.
Okay.
Obviously, I felt pressure to look after like my mum, my little bros, and all of that, innit?
Check 1, 2.
You don't understand the pressure and everybody's counting on you.
Jeez. Just not having a lot, you always want to step in. Like, me seeing my mum struggle, there's been so many times that I just want to be like, nah, mum, I got this. I'm in a pattern, you don't even worry. And then, like, sometimes you feel like there's no other kind of route that you can go.
Lockdown was just tough off school and everything, and that's when he got to writing, and that's when he showed off his talent as well. That's when, like, I think that was a period of time for him where he just focused himself purely to music.
When lockdown came, I remember I spoke to my boy Nerds, and I told him, bro, I'm not okay, bro. Like, I'm going through so much, and it's really hitting me. I don't know how to let it out, like I need an outlet, but, you know, I didn't want to do something that was gonna make my mum not happy. I feel like I really reached a place where there was 2 directions. You know, it was either stay legit or hit the roads.
You're literally forced to grow up here in a place like this. But, I mean, despite that, I feel like we're always able to have fun regardless. Like, we have escapes like music and stuff like that, where we can just have fun. And even if we're on the block and, you know, it's not the best place, like, we'll still make the most of what we have.
Lockdown, that was crazy for me. Like, you have so much time now to think. You're sitting there, you start thinking, what is life? You start thinking about all these tribulations and they just pop up in your head and it just attacks you. My mum was broke, she was struggling with rent, going through her own thing, seeing that just crushed me. Everyone was going through their own stuff to where no one was here to kind of cater to me and kind of tell me, like, you know, everything's gonna be all right.
Is he closing?
Mercy she was looking at the mustache.
Yeah. No, I want to look at this one.
Yeah, I know. I got more than Dorian. He had one strand. Yeah. Nah, bro, you got no hair on your chin.
During COVID, I started streaming on YouTube and Twitch, and people really liked it. The community liked it.
So yeah, hey guys, what you doing? What you saying?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Yeah, man.
Made everyone feel closer together when we were in a time where we couldn't see each other.
I've got some unreleased music to show you lot. Crazy.
No way, bro.
It's from the new EP that's coming up.
Oh, man.
What's it called? Yeah? This one's called Alone. I'm gonna whack it in chat.
I'm happiest when I'm alone.
Talking to my fans, it helps the process of creating the music so much more. If I can use these platforms to my advantage, I just will. And if I can find the thing that someone doesn't like about something, then that is just a straight up to-do list on what to work on.
Yeah, walking this road, talking to too many people.
You know, like someone can say something like, I didn't like this verse. So I'm like, why didn't you like this verse? Like, what part of it? Like, what was it, the mixing? Was it the flow? Or did it not sit well with the rest of it? And I get it with a lot, because like, I'm not a born and bred musician, I'm just guessing. Especially when I'm in a situation where I'm so underground still, that fan base is directly going to affect my future. And if I can give them what they want, then everyone wins. What do you think?
I remember when you showed us just a beat and a hook, and that has come so far, bro. What? Yeah. Like, calm, bro, that's insane.
I never felt like I belonged. I never felt like I fit in. Oxford is very briefcase, suit and tie kind of thing.
This is kind of the street that everyone kind of knows about. It's been here for the longest time. It's pretty shit.
Everyone's very academic, and I feel like my friends shunned me for being a creative kid.
I had a pretty normal upbringing. You know, it's pretty much everyone has a stepdad. Everyone got picked on. It says a lot about the UK, innit? But I was really, like, pretty bad. But it's definitely shaped me to who I am. Like, I'm definitely, like, self-conscious and shit because of shit that happened in school. When I was young, I was working on making intros, like graphic design, or making little silly profile pictures for people. I was learning and teaching myself, and I was making like a bit of money off of it as well, which was good. The second I made it public that I was gonna go do music and drop college and drop my job, it was almost like people chose to be resentful rather than supportive. Trying to explain that to your parents who have been in the system for a long time, the system of education, you work to a point so you can get a decent job, and I very quickly realized that the system wouldn't work for me. And at the time I was working in Waitrose. It was a really difficult time because I was fighting like fate, it felt like. And it's that internal turmoil of just, am I making a huge mistake?
Coming from the hood, there's 3 ways to make it out of this thing, innit? Honestly, rap, football, go jail. That's it, innit?
One day, I remember being in my room, I was 13. I was looking at the sky like, crying car, thinking, I need to make money. So I went conch, started living up there.
Lots of vulnerable young people like Mowgs are sold a dream of going cunch. They're used as a way of transporting drugs from major cities to further afield towns. They're then made to sell them from trap houses. It's become known as the county lines epidemic.
At 13, to go and involve yourself with selling drugs, that shows alarm bells.
Trap house conditions back then was bad.
Imagine this mountains full of rubbish, the toilets full of shit, overloading, people are pissing in the same room, rats are running around. I was in mad conditions. When you're young, you don't really care, innit? I'm just thinking, yo, I just want to get paid.
Due to lack of opportunity with youth, there's nothing for them. So why don't I just take myself and make some money to not have to deal with any of this?
Is what it is, innit? It made me the man I am today, you know what I mean?
When you're 14 now, you don't care about that, innit? Like, I'm there to make bread, innit? I don't care about no man then. Cause yo, listen, like, obviously my mom tried her best, but yo, the stuff that I want, my mom can't afford. That's just my bottom line, that's what it is, and like, I used to go downstairs and feel like, nah, mom, we need this, we need that. It's like I can't afford it. So you know, I got sick and tired of hearing man can't afford it, innit? So I thought, yo, we can afford it now, innit?
Growing up, I lived with my mom, my dad, and my brothers and my sisters. But when I was like 6, 7-ish, that's when my cousins from France moved in with us. So there'll be like 11 of us just sharing a 3-bedroom house. It was crazy, but it was very fun.
Most of our memories are based on being around Crystal and the other siblings and the family, because we spent a lot of time just being creative.
It was just really fun just living with your cousins. We do stuff like talent shows. That's where I basically found out I could rap.
We would split up like in each room of the house in mini groups and like pretend it was like an X Factor or something like that. Like we would make songs up, we would like get clothes and like readjust it to make it look like we was in a group.
Tell Crystal to do the rapping, we do the singing.
Living with all my cousins and my siblings, I just felt like I never had anybody have that eye on me. Just because there was just a lot of us. So yeah, I felt like I kind of needed the attention.
This is why I'm so proud of Crystal, because growing up, our families are really like, oh, you need to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, whatnot. But I knew that some of us wanted to go into like the entertainment side, but because of that lack of support, it was kind of like discouraging at one point.
My mom, she did not want me to do music at all. She's like, you have to be a doctor. I kept telling my mom like, no, music is what I want to do.
My dad is a strict guy. So I sat him down, I said, Dad, I want to start rapping. I was wondering if you could get me a mic.
It took my dad probably a bit of time, but honestly, I just think it's just the fact that he's like traditional.
I knew financially that was going to hurt his pocket.
And then from then, it was literally just like, I'm the older sister. I have a way that I can speak to my dad and get him to like, get to the decision that we want. And it took the whole night, but we
sat
made
him
it.
down and said,
Junior is not joking. This is serious.
Yeah, this is a laptop that it all started from. My dad, you know, he let me use the laptop. At one point, he just stopped using it. He said, yeah, it's basically yours. And yeah, I've made a ton of tracks on here. Like, I think I've made about 60 tracks at home, honestly.
I'm very glad that I like tried to push my dad to accept what my brother was doing, even though it wasn't something that he wanted him. Like, obviously, he wanted my brother to be like a surgeon or something, but yeah, instead he just wanted to rap.
I was just chilling at Nerds' crib, and he was like, I'm just with Kavo and Nerds and that, just chilling, you know what I'm saying? She was like, oh my God, you're in the house with Kavo, all this. They literally think that I'm just like this. You know, I'm the talk of the time, all I do is rap. They're like I'm a robot or something.
But everyone else is like, wow, it's Kavo.
To him, it's like, that's the bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep.
Cav was going through a tough time at the time.
My bro just said, write how you're feeling, bro. I remember I wrote something called Out of Stock. I wrote about 5 minutes, purely just my emotions on paper. It was literally a description of how I've been feeling and everything that I was holding in.
I remember he read something, it wasn't music, but it was poetry, innit? And then he was reading it to me, I was like, bro, try music, bro. This is good, but try rapping.
I was so anxious, I was so scared. I said, no, bro, I can't. And he said, just do it, just do it.
Barely affording rent, my man to stack up bread like Tetris. Barely had crepes and gum, so just like the clothing brand, bro, I had to just take risk. But for length on 256 and I want pure sound with no delay. Told bro, just stop with the trapping. Told bro, I'ma get him paid. Yo.
Me and my boys were all just really just young, energetic people who, like, despite the things that we might lack, like, compared to other people, we still made the most of whatever we had, so it was hectic. There's a lot of things that go down and stuff, but we just grew up and just enjoyed ourselves and kind of distracted ourselves from the madness that was going on.
Look, I wake up every day and I got questions and another one. Asking why brothers keep on killing, can't we learn to love?
See, slapware, sound bad.
Period.
Picking up, yeah?
Yeah. And another one, asking why brothers keep on killing, can't we learn to love? Survival of the fittest, it's just a game to get blah, 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 blah. Start that.
Cool. This is why I use this machine, you ready?
Asking why brothers keep on killing, can't we learn to love? Survival of the fittest, just a game to them, there's no more love. Gotta learn to stop it, cause that people, they're all dying young.
Hard. Next piece.
Gotta learn to stop it, cause that people, they're all dying young. I came up from the struggle just like you, so I relate to them. Story on my life, so let me picture, let me paint for them. Seen it all. My baby sister, she can hardly talk. Seen her go from happy then to sad on just a month from God.
Sick. Some proper honest lyrics in here though, man. There's a lot of personal stuff about your family and that as well, which is unique to you.
Yeah.
So, fair play for you to put it out like that. Because that's what, in my opinion, hip-hop or rap music is. It's honesty.
Exactly. My sister was 15 when she got sick. I was 16 at the time. I remember Mum came home, she was just crying. Like, she was crying. Obviously, my mum doesn't cry. Like, everybody that knows my mum was a strong woman. She don't cry. So when my mum cries, you know, that means something must happen. And then she must have sat us all down. And then that's when she told us that my sister was ill. She had many different problems that were happening with her brain. She doesn't know how to function properly anymore. My dad started drinking more. My dad already had a drinking problem, smoking problem as well. But when he got the news about my sister, he just went down bad. It just came out of nowhere. It's like, one day she's fine, and then the next, she's just a whole different person. I use music as self-expression. However I'm feeling, I just put it all down with my lyrics.
Low note to the sis, gotta see what's cracking. Even though we don't talk, man, I love still there, man, I wish I could tell you what happened. All I know, one day you was my best friend and we split like I don't know what happened. Walk past each day, not saying a word like I live with a stranger, what happened. Wish I could talk to you, wish I could tell you the truth. Wish I could tell you that I feel pain, that I'm not even talking to you. What is it that I gotta prove? What is it that I put you through? Cause whatever it is my story enough, cause I don't know what I gotta do. And that's real and that's facts.
Everything I do is for my little sister, because she loves music. I do it for my family, do it for myself as well. It's just for everybody that I love in my life.
Don't do that to me, man. Don't do that to me, man. This guy's mad.
Bro, Ireland is tough, man. Obviously not, like, you know, the scene is tight. They're not really seeing us, but I feel like, you know, we're coming up, innit? Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna see us soon, innit? We're making noise, we're the noisy neighbours, bro. We're the noisy neighbours. We're making noise, bro.
Dublin, onshore. Jordan, onshore. Let me hear it, onshore. Girl, them, onshore. Man, them, onshore. Are you ready for war, man? Show your colours. One time for my Irish brothers, I wonder where my village people, black or white, we don't care, we equal. Wag one for these Irish labels, they don't wanna see what we bring to the table. I'm a black man in a white man's country, they don't wanna hear us, I think that they fear us. You're a bad man in Europe. You can try that one in Lagos where sellers from, they will smash your face. Run from one side, they can take your life. So hold up, don't joke with your life. Look at and watch when you throw up. Where I'm from, they don't want us to blow up. By fire, by force, they go lower.
Coming out of Ireland and being how big I am today, nobody else has done it. I was like the first black male Irish artist to get 1 million views. So it is unexpected.
The scene started off with Officer and BT. There was no one really trying to rap in Drada. The year JB2 kind of blew up, drill started evolving. There was different sounds and different voices and flows coming into drill. I was literally going around the whole of Ireland looking for like artists to manage and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, I'll have a look at Officer. At first, he wasn't really trying to do music. I was kind of like pushing him. But then gradually, I think he fell in love with it. He had a passion for it. And then we kind of just took it up a level. We just said to ourselves, let's do something different that no one has heard before.
Naruto drillings, what do you mean? Back up my Russian gun, then I
We released the Naruto drilling song, and then that is when I realized that you could do this. It was just 3 stages of like, let's just try and get the community to know we're here, and then let the country know about us. And then it was a thing of the global impacts, and that's what we did. It got everyone that level of exposure that we were all aiming for at the beginning. Because then it was like, when it was the right time to invite everyone else onto the table, it's like a domino effect. It was just like, if one goes, the next one's gonna go, the next one's gonna go.
Once I started getting on buzz, it was important for me to put my team on. And I feel like they actually improved me a lot because all of us in the group have different styles of rapping.
I'll swim my arm in a figure of 8, or I won't leave till the whole clip empty. Them boy ain't none but pagans, I can see why them boy love envy.
And they take a lot of pressure off me as well because it's like, I'm not the only one who's doing it, it's everybody else as well.
My hand thing coming like Corona if it costs twice in this 10 pack. They say that we come like athletes, circle your block when we do them left.
The Fumes thing was actually a solo, but it was a thing where we'll just get the man them on air, and obviously the Fumes just took off.
Okay, but I still make kids from this like a sim. The Jake boys irritate my skin, can't put me in the bin, no comment, can't sing. Don't sing like 6, don't snitch like 9, still circle them 2 times with a machine, no gym, trying to put him in the sky, make a up boy fly, get whacked by mine.
When you block like, I want that, or your butter. How many points have you scored in the last few weeks? Meji, Mary, Mefa, on the ball 22 on my back like Kaka. Bro scores like Laka, shoot and they scatter, watch them and jappa. Bopply bop, it's okay, do you see on more dancer?
I think that's when we all realized that, right, like we can actually do this music thing for real.
I feel like being a female rapper, you have to be sexy. You have to be sexy. No one's gonna like mess with you. I feel like I have to be sexy because that's when boys will look at you, people pay attention to you. Because I feel like I have to like, you know, have some boobs out, makeup, and just look a bit girly, just to be taken seriously. It worries me that if I didn't look a certain way, like it would affect my whole music career. When I was young, I had depression. I wasn't happy being in my own skin. I didn't like the way I looked. I wasn't happy because I would just go to school and I'd see all these pretty girls with straight hair, makeup, nice figures, and then I'll just look at myself and just think, ew. So that's a depression. Started cutting my skin. I didn't like being black. In the black community, you're told you can't show emotion. You always have to be strong. Like, depression to African parents is not a thing at all. Like, you tell your African parents you got depression, they'll just tell you to pray. Like, I understand, like, prayer, but not everything's all about praying. Sometimes you actually need to go out and get help.
The verses are super intricate and really honest, and then the hook is kind of hopeful, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah.
So the chorus...
It's the world that we're living in, life that we're living in. Have to keep on pushing, so we grinding for everything. Showing so much love is not a crime, so let's give it in. It's always good to keep an eye on just everything.
Showing so much love is not a crime.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
It's true. It's actually so true.
It's like, do you think it's easier for people just to be negative?
Yeah. I don't think young people have enough support for their mental health. I just wish there was somebody I could go to and express how I'm feeling without being judged.
I wish that I could talk to me and tell her it's okay. Yeah, there be some struggles, don't you listen to the world, okay? Was fighting with my demons every day, I couldn't take the pain. Depression was the beast, I had to stand up and I'll be okay. I suffered with anxiety, I cared too much what people say. Cutting on my skin cause I felt numb, I couldn't feel the pain. I had to switch my brain and realise it doesn't end right here. Had to be the bigger person, had to really make a change. The news the other day, my daddy's ill, I hope results will change. Told him stop the smoking, he won't listen to the words we say. Praying every night that he will change and he will find a way. I know he loves me dearly and supportive with the sound I make. Mom is there, she's my queen, I love her the most. I'm so sorry for the time I disobeyed you a lot. I saw the truth and you was right, these friends will be there enough. Please forgive me for my wrongs, see it's society's fault. It's the world that we're living in, life that we're living in. I have to keep on pushing, so we grinding for everything. Showing so much love is not a crime, so let's give it in. It's always good to keep an eye on just everything. World that we're living in, life that we're living in. I have to keep on pushing, so we grinding for everything. Showing so much love is not a crime, so let's give it in. It's always good to keep an eye on just everything.
Something just clicked in my brain. I was just like, why are you so unhappy with yourself? Just be happy with the way you look. This is the way God wanted you to be. So if this is the way God wants you to be like this. Love yourself.
Music's about telling stories, about giving a voice to who you are, where you're from, and maybe what you want for yourself. But for some, it can be about redefining who you are and owning your new identity.
And this one's called Man, I just started beginning to lose control. Trying to wish my XP died, I want console. When I say I'm coming through the ranks, I want God though. If you want a smart, smack the fag right out your god, bro. Loud pat landed, I'ma fill it up, lean on. My brain just did a wheel up. I just came in crashing like a bull and you the teacup. Hit it with my bitch doing two sippy and seeing stuff.
You just bark at nothing. When I was working out what kind of image I want to convey, it was quite a difficult thing to do because at the start I was just trying to be just like an edgelord and just say shit that would piss people off or whatever. But I realized, yeah, that I've got to be it's true to myself, to say the least. And I'm very conscious of it because the stuff you put on the internet can really affect people. So this fan messaged me, literally like saying some shit like, you're a bitch or whatever. Like just straight up blind hate, man. And I take hate in an interesting way because I kind of want to figure out what is going on like behind that, you know, that person's head. Like, why are they doing that? And I straight up, like, I mean, at the start I was joking around and said, who's shatting your cereal, fam? But like, I said, what's your name? Just kind of break the ice. He goes, why? I said, because I'm having a conversation with you. Is it wrong to ask who I'm speaking with? And he said, my name's John. I go, so John, why don't you like my music? He went, because it's trash. I went, okay, that's okay. It's not made for everyone. But why do you think it's trash? Like, what part about it specifically? They said they don't like the screaming part. And I went, okay, well, music probably isn't for you then. But why are you so rude about it? He went, because I feel like it. Why are you a bitch? And this is where I realized, like, this guy is just randomly hating at me, like, for no reason. So I was like, I'm here talking to you, just trying to reason with you. You don't need to be a keyboard warrior. You gain nothing from calling me a bitch. I couldn't care less. What's bothering you? I'm here to talk. He ended up saying, why do you care? And I said, because, John, there are people who show they care, and I don't even know you, but I want the best for you. That's what makes good people good people. It might seem pointless that I'm talking to some random person on the internet, but something must really be bothering you for you to be going out and spreading hate like this. Are you okay? Be honest with me. Are you hurting? And he went, yeah, I am. I said, like, what's the matter? You don't have to talk if you don't want to. You can just vent if you want. He went, no, it's okay, I will. I've been going through depression all my life. I grew up in an abusive home, and I was bullied a lot for my weight and name calling, and went through all of it in high school. Recently, my mum passed away. It's been affecting me a lot. I said, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you feel the need to take out your pain on the internet. Life can really deal out a shit hand of cards sometimes. I said, look, man, I don't want to sit here and write you a sob story because it's only going to make you remember the shit times, but seriously, think about what you can do to change your current situation. You are the most important person in any situation. Your mental health, well-being, it should be your top priority. Burying your demons away, taking stuff out on people on the internet is not doing you any better. It's time you sort your life out, bro. You need some positive reinforcement. And I said, do it for your mother. Like, may she rest in peace. Like, rest in peace, obviously. And he went, thanks, man. Thanks for your kind words. But it really did blow my mind. Like, now we talk every day now. Like, he's from New York. Yeah, he's actually a nice guy, and it turns out he is actually a fan at the end of the day, which is just mad. He does actually listen to my music, and he actually complimented me on my music anyway, because sometimes people are just hurting and they want any reason to just kind of say shit as a release, man. It's mad. A lot of people use the internet as an escape. You know, for example, a cyberbully or something, that no one's really gonna go up to someone in the street and say you and all this shit, because it's like you're gonna get punched in the face. But I do try and only keep the positive stuff on my socials, because I take pride in having that responsibility to, my fans and friends.
Social media is a drug, man. Like, people will just always keep on trying to impress. So they're just stuck in this zone where they're just trying to be something that they're not.
Picking up, or you want to go straight again?
Pick up from what I just grabbed now.
Trying to manifest greatness, high investors, trying to push a Rolls Royce. Just like skeptics, trying to buy mum that diamond necklace. So work hard every day, I'm restless. Do that again. Trying to manifest greatness, high investors, trying to push a Rolls Royce. Just like skeptics, trying to buy mum that diamond necklace. So work hard every day, I'm restless.
Clean.
Yeah. It's like it targets young people. Like, that is literally like the pathway for your mental to be messed up in some type of way.
Having Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram on our phones at a young age has really just deteriorated our minds. I feel like young people have lost a sense of reality. They're always in a competition to be better than someone else. Comparison ultimately is the thief of joy. Trying to impress people, that's where depression stems from.
People try abide by this fake reality and this fake standard about it. You have to be like this, or at this age you have to be doing this, and it's just stupid. So, a lot of people try to fabricate the life that they're living, and I'm just not for it.
It's just toxic. I feel like social media has driven people away from the root of what life is, of enjoying the people around you and really cherishing the moment.
I just feel like people just need to put young people's feelings, and they need to respect it. And the fact that we feel a lot of shit and we have a lot of shit on our shoulders that we can't go sometimes to your mum or your dad to. Sometimes you can only tell your boys.
When you don't have someone that has been through what we've been through, like, COVID, lockdown, who the hell is going to give me guidance on how to keep stay mentally sane in lockdown?
Maybe it's pandemic-related isolation, but depression and anxiety seem to be at epidemic levels, and that can lead to self-medication. In Birmingham, Mowgs has been dealing with his trauma and PTSD by using lean, a cocktail of Sprite and cough syrup.
Man's been drinking lean since I was 16, yeah. Man probably addicted to lean.
Really want to rich a milli, but my mommy needs a house. Really want to take a day off,
Man tell me all the time, like, Mo, chill out. Bro, like, man really sip this shit. I don't sip it to look cool, and I sip it because, like, man need it. See, when you sit down at night time and you say, like, you'd think about loads of stuff. Like, you'd be thinking about stuff that happened years ago with your family, like, traumatic stuff. It's like, all takes a toll on man, you get it? So, when you sip that, it's like, just forget about all of that. No anxiety, no paranoia. You're not thinking about any of that mad stuff. It just takes your mind off everything. Because you're not in your normal brain. You're not thinking how you would think if you're sober. When man's sober, all of that comes out. Like, man's bare emotional with it as well, you get it? Like, you're still feeling down, depressed and that. Can't go out and do stuff because, like, your mental's just not there. I need to find a way where I can put that at the back of my head. Unless I go therapy or nothing, I ain't going nowhere. I'll be real, yeah, I don't know how to do it. Man's 24, but I've been through a lot. Man didn't come in a proper home, like, I lost some people real close to me. Man's been shot. Everything takes its toll on me, innit? Like, you get it, like, when I got shot, like, right there. Obviously, I just live in that, with the Audi, just there, that groove.
I remember pulling up to the scene and just thinking that it was dead. It was so brutal, like outside the house, in the morning, 5 shots. It always just in my head, it's like he could have been killed that day. We've got to the hospital now. When I've run into the room, he's okay.
Lena, don't cry, man. What are you crying for?
I've never had a kid irritation.
He's just like this. But it goes to show just how Mo's mindset is.
You don't know about boot cuts, fam.
At that time, I don't think he took things as serious as they were.
It's a mad roller coaster right now, you know.
Yeah, bro.
It's like... Okay.
Oh, yeah.
After I got shot, my mom picked me up. My whole family's scared. They're thinking, raw, like, Mo, what are you doing? People come to the house. So I was on my own after that stuff.
I ain't see a soul when I got evicted from my crib, but I never threw a tantrum and acted like a kid. Then my plug gave me bricks and then I moved to the sticks. But I've been trapping all my life and I ain't new to this shit. I don't know if it's love genuine, so I kinda find it wary. I don't wanna thinking I could change his life near me. Can't seen it all before, it always ends up scary. Like a fairy. Alright, now let me come back in, I need to write some more.
2018, that year he'd been shot. We get invited to be a supporting act for Popcorn. Big deal. We were just over the moon. Like, it was such a big moment for us.
Done Wembley, Manny and Brim, so boom, done London show, lit. Boom, in front of like 10,000 people or something. It's like, oh my God.
The next day now, so we've got to Manchester, he's done a performance, had a sick performance, it's gone off, everyone's excited, we're all just like, yes, this is what we want.
The man were talking about, oh, Mo, let's go into the crowd.
Got into the crowd, all the groupies, all the fans, like, just coming around him. It's giving me, like, claustrophobia.
Everyone's coming over to me, taking pictures, whatnot, like, man, that's showing me, it's fan love, innit?
It's a party vibe, you know what I'm saying? There's a bar down the road. Took my driver to the bar for, like, we literally split each other for, like, a minute or two.
My phone's died, so I was like, bro, I'm gonna go charge my phone.
As I've walked into the crowd, like, my spider senses started tingling. As I walk past these youths now, I just feel like someone like punched me in my ass. Like 2 seconds ago, I tried walking, like my leg just gave way. I'm thinking, wow, like looking at myself, like, wow, I got wet still.
He got stabbed in his bottom, in his lung, and I think in his back. So it was 3 stab wounds he got.
My man's like screaming, like, oh, got stabbed, they stabbed more. Just dropped my cops and just dived in there. Bam, got in the middle, boom.
I've ran downstairs to where I just was standing, where there was a crowd of people. When I've run there now, it's a pool of blood.
I was out of the game for like nearly a year, you know. I was so down and out, you don't understand, like, I never had no money, I had 2 bills to my name. It's all too much on my mental stuff. I can't lie, I nearly gave up, innit? I nearly gave up still.
I feel like young people, it's so easy for them to get involved in the wrong crowd. Like, older people will stop a young boy and be like, do you want to make money? And tell them it's legit. And then when they get involved, they now can't get out of it because they're now involved. If they try to escape, something bad will happen to them and their family.
What really like opened my eyes at a young age as well, like outside of the whole school and stuff, like me seeing like some of my people that I used to call my friends in primary, seeing how they've turned out like to this day, it just really opened my eyes that this is a place that you can really get lost in. So like, it's just really important just to keep a stable mind, because if you lose your mind in a place like where I'm from, like it's literally over for you, because I don't know how you'd be able to get it back.
Some of the challenges we faced, it was actually tough for us. There wasn't no support, like in the radio, still probably to this day, there isn't much rap music and hip hop music. It's always more ballad kind of music. It's never the new modern kind of music.
Time my skin like the heat from the sun in the trenches. Dance my hunting top. Come as a bridge for the things that we done. So I tell my margin, wish the gang good luck.
In Ireland, at the start, I'm not gonna lie, it was horrible. Like, they just didn't get it, they didn't understand it. Maybe it was just the genre of music, it was something new that they didn't get.
At the end of the day, it's their job to have the hottest like news, the hottest topic going on right now. How I see it is, obviously we're black and we're Irish, you know, like say if there was riots and obviously beef happens and, you know, like if it was that, they'd publicize it, they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, the whole world would know, yeah, a group of black boys were making trouble, do you know what I mean? But when it comes to like, oh, we're doing good, we hit the charts, stuff like that, they're not trying to put it out there.
I see two leave, one for me, let's spin that blood.
We still have a long way to go in terms of even just letting our people in Ireland know that we're here for a long while.
I think it's a gradual process, but in the end we will get there. But because we built so many great relationships with different radio presenters and radio DJs and press people who have now come to be A92 fans, it's just become easier along the way. So it's just pushing tracks, the right tracks to the right people, getting them to kind of see the impact of it and what A92 are doing in the country.
D-Town baby, go crazy. Music is so powerful that all it takes is just that one viewer to listen or to watch your music video and they can feel inspired. Started from the bottom, now I hear no Drake. St. Patrick's, cause I chased away the snakes. Lately I'm getting sick and tired of the fakes. Gelly didn't rate, man, now they wanna go on dates. See, I used to kick a ball, then I picked up the mic. I used to drink water, now I mix it with Sprite. Did it for my town, did it for my city. I told Bo be careful when he's feeding the niggas. I'm a D-Town baby, girl go crazy, cause we're up now. Couple hate me, cause we're up now. Gelly wanna shady, cause we're up now. Up now, up now. D-Town baby, girl go crazy, cause we're up now. Couple hate me, cause we're up now. Gelly wanna shady, cause we're up now. Up now, up now. The amount of messages I get and people saying that I got them through the pandemic and stuff like that, so it's nice to know that our music is being heard in that emotional way. That's the main goal, just get everybody together.
The community's been good to us in terms of how they support our music. So it was a case of we wanted to give back.
It is very important because obviously they're the first people that have supported us.
Last year, someone from Ireland did get shot.
A black male called George Kenchop was killed in front of his home up in Dublin.
It was very sad for like the whole black community in Drogheda.
There was a lot of racial abuse on social media and people just cheering on the police that done it. That was the sickening thing, do you know what I mean? Those videos, like there was so many police around, like 10 people can't just take down one guy in an orderly manner, but nah, your man just resorted to shooting them 6 times, which was unbelievable.
We really just wanted to show everyone that we're not just all about music. We're actually about, like, you know, trying to support the community.
We've done so much. I remember we're gonna go on a protest. It wasn't a good turnout. It was just 10 people there, and we were like, this is unacceptable. We're the main guys in the town. Let's do another one. And we did, like, we set up one the next week, and we kind of led the protest. It was just a big turnout, a big difference to what it was the first time around.
It's like a family. We're here, like everyone in our Drogheda supportive of like our vision and what we want to do for the town.
And you guys can have a good day. Thank you very much.
I always said, like, the bigger I get, the more I would like to give.
People make music for all kinds of reasons, but at its core, there's always a desire to say something. The personal stories of these artists often shine a light on much bigger issues. Crystal uses music to show love to her sister. Bad Lad, he's finding his lane in the world, bridging the gap with his supporters. Officer celebrates a small town that nurtured him, uniting his community on Black Lives Matter. And in Birmingham, Mowgs is using music to talk about the harsh realities around him as he breaks out of his concrete jungle.
I enjoyed leaning like a month, you know. It was me up, you know. Like, obviously I was vomiting blood, coughing blood, like coming like water, couldn't move and that. So I thought, yo, knock it on the head. Trust me, see where I'm trying to go in my life now. I can't be after drugs all the time, innit? I'm trying to take it to a next level, innit? That was cool in the hood and all of that, but where I'm going in my life now, it's different from the past, innit?
Yo, this is a banger, you know. Trust me. This sounds like
the same brothers you were starving with.
This is some epic shit. Yo, this is sounding like 8 Mile shit. Making me feel like Eminem and that. Hey, you got one chance.
The real thing don't last forever, innit? I see too much man go jail, die, go crazy. Like, God's blessed man to do something else, innit? So I have to take that, innit?
The game's chestnut checkers out here. You lose your life, you've made the wrong moves. I've made the wrong moves and nearly lost my life. made the right moves and changed my life.
You don't understand the pressure when everybody's counting on you. Taking all that stress now, I feel like there's a mountain on you. Diamonds spilling out the chain, it's like a fountain on you. Pissed I had to turn him to a stain, but I ain't really want him.
I'm very proud of the man he's become. I'm proud of the life he's had and that he's overcome a lot.
Coming from a hellhole, slay my brother, hell no. Feds trying to catch me with some straps like a Velcro.
I'll be real, I love the hood, but there ain't nothing for me there. There ain't nothing for me in the hood, fam.
I ain't see a soul when I got evicted from my crib.
I don't want my kids growing up there. I don't want them to go through the same shit that I went through. I don't want them seeing that type of lifestyle. I brought them here to not see that.
You always finish with the ones you started with. You always run them all, you give them half an inch. Told my watch them brothers that you party with. Cause they weren't the same brothers you were starving with. You always finish with the ones you started with. You always run them all, you give them half an inch. Told my watch them brothers that you party with. Cause they weren't the same brothers you were starving with.
I don't know, peace is the best thing ever, innit? I don't need to come off that state thinking, if I go down there now, I don't know who's waiting in the car ready to shoot, man. You get it? Where I live now, like, yo, I go to the field, I smoke weed, I listen to the birds, get it? So it's a different type of living now.
Man's at peace, so I got no stress, no anxiety, no nothing. It's just me, just chilling.
I never seen you on them days that we was trapping hard. And you and there with me and Loso always jacking cars. Ain't a person that I trust to really find it hard. Yeah, we used to be like brothers, but it's not my dog. Smoking on this Cali package, take me straight to Mars. Man, I really thought you love me, how you snake me, dog. There's always wanna hate, but that won't make it far. Still pulling all these strings like I play guitar. You always finish with the ones you started with. You always run them all, you give them half an inch.
I see now where I live now, I just see like, yeah, I see what it actually is, innit? When you're in the hood, you just see what it looks like.
You always finish with the ones you started with. You always run them all, you give them half an inch.
Anything I'm going through, man, will overcome it, innit? And that's when you know, man, overcame it. I'm a nature man now. What, where I live now? I thought to see through the door open. Don't give me a joke.
All over Britain, all over Ireland, in fact, all over the world, people are using their own fusion of beats and bars to tell their authentic story. Like Kavo, who's working towards his big break. And at the age of 16, the gifted young rapper is already branching out from his native Birmingham, drawn to breaking London like so many before him. Not all of these artists will break the glass ceiling and become household names, but maybe it's the very act of creativity that really matters.
Who's that? It's Cav, that's back again. It's the youngest in charge who's back to win. When I stepped in with a French ting, it was red, white, blue like Czechoslovakian. Breaking down these bars, but I don't break down, just growth, no decay. There's 2 at the front, 5 in the mid, 3 at the back like PK. Letting go wanna come and CK, threw it back to the streets on a weekday. All I care about's hunters, blacked out truck on foreign Hummers. Tryna get money in 50s, 5s, 10s, 20s, all in abundance. Cash flow, it comes too crazy, only God can stop this coming. You love how I walk that talk, but straight to the bag I'm running. There's fire in the booth, my bars all cold, leave the streets all frozen. Where I kill these beats, KDB, call me Kevin De Bruyne.
The healing process of expressing your pain, and through it, connecting with others.
Manifest that my bro ain't locked up. I manifest bro gets off leaning. I manifest that the hoods get fixed up. I manifest that bro gets clean. I manifest that bro stays away from 2.5, no Charlie Sheen. I manifest that my bro gets Millz, don't end up broke on a block in knees. These days I stay real stealthy. I pray to the Lord that my mom stays healthy. Hope that my sister's well in uni. I paid her loans when I blew like Chelsea. I manifest that my fam stays happy and nothing changes. Future thing. Hope that the money don't change them, and what's important is love, not clothes and bling. I manifest that my bro ain't locked up. I manifest bro gets off leaning. I manifest that the hoods get fixed up. I manifest that bro gets clean. I manifest that bro stays away from 2.5, no Charlie Sheen. I manifest that my bro gets Millz, don't end up broke on a block in knees.